Hello, everyone. Hello. I am Dr. Toni. I am mom. I am a success and satisfaction mentor. I am presently a practicing psychotherapist in the state of Pennsylvania. I am also someone who has been to burnout a couple times in my life experience and someone who has managed my own mental health challenges over the course of the first few decades of my life. And now I have the honor and the privilege, after many, many years of trial and error and research, and diving headfirst into exploring a healthy and effective way to navigate all of those stressors and challenges and even traumas that I have experienced. I get to help others to do the same simply through showing up just as who I am and sharing my story as well as my experience, and also supporting others who are ready and wanting to share their story, because it helps our healing as we share stories and hear stories. It also helps us to feel more inspired and more connected as we share our stories and hear stories. And I'm honored to be here with you all today. So I want to talk with you all today about what it means to kind of live a life well lived. Now, I'm in the entrepreneurial space because I am an entrepreneur, and that was not by intention. I hadn't planned on becoming an entrepreneur, but I'm glad I did. And so I am in the entrepreneurial space. I am in the parenthood space because I am a parent and I have supported parents for many, many, many years in my work. And I am also in the healthcare space because of my work as a psychotherapist. I've been doing that for quite some time. So I'm in all of these different kinds of spaces, and there are sometimes conversations in them around what it means to be successful, or to be happy with life, or to live a meaningful life. And sometimes there aren't those discussions. Sometimes there is not an openness to have those conversations. And I think that now more than ever, those conversations are really important for us to have, not for us to force upon anybody else, because if we try to force these kind of conversations upon people, it doesn't go well. These are conversations that are meant to be had with those who are wanting, ready, and willing to begin to have those conversations. And this one in particular, around what it means to be successful, what it means to feel satisfied with life, what it means to live a life well lived, is one that is very near and dear to my heart, because it's been the journey of my lifetime to explore that question ever since I was a kid. Ever since I was a kid, I was like, I know that I have a purpose, or else I wouldn't be here. But what exactly that is and how exactly to have that play out, I'm not sure. Now, I'm not talking about fate or like prescribed destiny here. I'm not talking about teaching you or telling you to figure it, like that there's one path that is the right path for you, and that's the path of your purpose, your destiny, your fate, and it's going to happen that way, and you just got to find it. You got to. I don't believe that. So that's not what I'm talking about here. I do believe we all have a purpose or purposes, and part of our journey here is to explore and discover what that looks like for us. So that's not prescribed. That's not pre-written. Someone else didn't narrate our story in our life before we got here. So that's not what I'm talking about. That is not something that I have found to be true in my life or in the lives of those that I serve. And so that's not, just to clarify. But I will tell you that after exploring this question for as far as I can remember, for as long as I can remember in my life, exploring this question, like, what does it mean for me to live my life well and meaningfully? What does that mean? Which, in my opinion, is what a successful and satisfying life is for us to be able to say, I've lived a life that is well lived and that is meaningful to me? What does that mean? What does that look like? How does that apply? Like, if it looks one way for me, like, how could I say how it's going to look for someone else? And it's kind of that question of like, what is the purpose of life, right? Like that's a big question. It's a looming question. It's a question that many people have asked. Some people don't, because it's kind of big and looming and scary. And so why ask, right? And so wherever you're at on that spectrum is fine, but it's a core question that I have explored for as long as I can remember. And here is where I'm at as far as what I kind of define the meaning of life to be. The meaning of life, as I know it to be now, and as I continue to learn and grow and gain more wisdom and experience, my current definition may change and evolve, but this is my present working definition, which I've really found to be really applicable and powerful to myself and all those that I serve thus far. So take from it what works for you. The meaning of life that I have come to land on, the definition, if you will, that I have created based on my experience and my wisdom here in this world so far, is to learn and to grow as we meaningfully connect and meaningfully contribute, while allowing as much joy, love, passion, and purpose as possible. I'll repeat that, right? What I have found to be kind of the definition or meaning of life, the meaning of life definition to me, is to learn and to grow as we meaningfully connect and meaningfully contribute, while allowing as much joy, passion, purpose, and love as possible. I'm curious to know what your reaction is to that. I've landed on that kind of working definition after a very long journey of exploring the meaning of life for myself, and after working with many individuals and families and professionals. And this is what I've landed on. And if this is the case, if this is true, then we have to break it down. The reason I put my fingers up for each of those is because we really do need to break it down into all of those different pieces, because to learn and to grow, we're not learning and we're not growing, we're stunting ourselves or we're stagnating, which makes it hard to do any of those really other pieces in a meaningful way. And we have to break down, what does it mean to meaningfully connect? And meaningful connection, because connection is essential as a social species that we are. Meaningful connection involves things like safety, reciprocity, vulnerability, space for variety and diversity, acceptance of variety and diversity. And beyond acceptance and appreciation for variety and diversity, if we're talking about real meaningful connection, those things have to exist within our relationships with ourselves, with others, with the world, within our businesses, within our homes, with our children, with our friendships, with our citizens, with international interactions. Meaningful connection is a big one. Meaningful connection, not surface level connection, not connection where you wear a facade and I wear a facade and I act the way that I think I should act in order for you to see me the way I think that I want you to see me, and vice versa. That's not meaningful connection. Not likes or loves or shares on social media. I'm talking meaningful connection. And then if we move into meaningful contribution, the way I contribute is going to be different than the way you contribute. It's going to be what's meaningful to me about how I contribute. This right here, having these conversations and being able to share it with the public, whomever needs it, whoever is best served. This is meaningful to me. This is one way that I can meaningfully contribute from a place that brings me joy, from a place that is connected to my passion and my purpose, from a place that I'm coming and sharing from love. But this way of meaningfully contributing, this is not for everyone, nor need it be, because of the variety that we appreciate in our meaningful connections. We can then understand and appreciate that the way in which we all contribute in this world is also of variety, and that is so needed, because we need to contribute in different ways so that we can all then meaningfully connect and receive in different ways. As we each meaningfully connect and meaningfully contribute in our own unique power, in our own unique way, from our own unique stance, that helps to fill in the gaps of what is needed to support the social species. That if there was only one and done, if everyone was alike, then there would be so many missing gaps, because one archetype, one person, one personality, one way of doing, seeing, being is not going to help us figure out anything beyond the sphere that we can see. Does that make sense? Like, we could just break that down into something simple as, if you look at the structure of your home or your business, if every single person in the business or every single person in your home has the same exact role and is expected to do the same exact things in the same exact ways, there's a whole heck of a lot of people doing a few things, leaving a ton of other things undone, unexplored, untouched. My children, they're all birthed from me. Presently, all of my children are birthed from me, but they each have different, unique skill sets and gifts. And I so appreciate each and every one of them. One is more philosophical. One is much more hands-on in the helping. And the other is much more about comedy and wanting to make you laugh. And each of those are so needed. I meaningfully contribute from my skills and my gifts so I can be of best support, service, interaction, mentorship, friendship, whatever I am to you, so I can be of that to you in the way that I best know how. But you have your own beautiful, unique gifts, talents, skill set, experience that informs those gifts, talents, and skill sets. And we need those, because they're not my strengths. They're yours. And even if our strengths are similar, the way in which we deliver them and the people in which the lives they touch, there's a variety there too, right? And the way that we discover all of this about ourselves and about others is through learning and growing, ongoing, forever. So to learn and to grow while meaningfully connecting and meaningfully contributing, as we allow, allowing is a big word. I know it sounds small, doesn't it? But it is a big word. It is one that I have been putting into practice intentionally for years now at this point, and I continue to deepen my relationship with allowing. There's a sense of like surrendering control that comes with allowing. There's a sense of faith that the world is the world at its core, source at its core, is wanting to work for you and wellness, not wanting to work against you. Allowing is a big one. It's kind of going with the flow of nature's stream rather than trying to control or work against the flow of nature's stream. And so when we are allowing in our lives, we experience less stress and less resistance. We just do. And when we experience less stress and less resistance, we can then experience more of that joy, that passion, that purpose, and that love internally and outside of ourselves, right? Love for ourselves, joy, passion, purpose within ourselves, but then also that exudes from us, and others are able to experience that simply by us embodying that more and more and more. And then as we do that, guess what? We have interactions. We are presented opportunities or challenges where we come back, and they are opportunities or challenges to help us learn or grow. Again, as we meaningfully connect and meaningfully contribute while allowing as much joy, love, passion, purpose as possible. And that as possible is important because at any given moment, each of us is kind of on a spectrum of how much joy, passion, love, and purpose we can tap into and allow at any given moment. Like there's an ebb and flow, right, to that. And that's normal, I think. That's part of life. Because as we learn and we grow, we can get better and better and better, more equipped, more aware, more able to navigate and discern how to do all of these other ones even more deeply, with even more meaning in like embedded in it, with even more kind of intense like satisfaction, right? And as we do these, as we lean into this definition of the meaning of life that I have concocted, that I have pieced together over my experience of this lifetime so far, as we do that, we feel more meaningfully successful and we feel more satisfied with the life that we're living. And I want to tell you that this definition, I do not share lightly. I don't share it lightly. I've had this working definition now at this point for years. And I'll be honest with you, I have hesitated to share it more openly for a long time because past parts of me that in the past were worried that I could be wrong, or someone would maybe inaccurately judge that I think I am this like all-knowing or omnipotent one, or all of those kind of doubtful parts of me that I experienced throughout my childhood and adolescence and even early adulthood, that I needed to tend to and be aware of and shift my relationship with, because our meaningful connection, our meaningful contribution is not just about us and others, it's about within ourselves first. In fact, the primary relationship that you got to work with first with this working definition is this meaningful connection with yourself and a willingness to learn and grow within yourself, right? Those parts of me that feared that are no longer like active around this topic, because it feels so important, it feels so relevant, it feels like a gift that I was asked to explore this question as part of my life's mission and purpose and vision and passion. And it brings me joy to explore it and to learn and to grow and meaningfully connect and meaningfully contribute as I continuously explore it. And so I want my exploration, I want my discoveries along the way to not just benefit me, I want them to benefit others, and not just paid clients that I share this with as appropriate, but anyone that comes across my work and finds resonance with it. I want that to serve others. I want that to serve the world in a way that makes sense. And so I am happy, and I feel that it is an honor and a privilege and a blessing for me to be able to share this with you all. And I do know that it's going to serve whomever you are, whomever is listening at any given point in time. It's going to serve you in the way that it needs to serve you for now. And maybe if you come back and you re-listen to it again in the future, it will serve you in a different way, because we are all on this journey called life, and our journeys are all different. And when we're at different parts of our journeys, we hear, see, understand, perceive, interpret things differently, right? the way that I understood mathematics when I was in first grade is different than the way that I understand mathematics now. And that's a good thing. It doesn't mean I was bad or wrong or underdeveloped, or it doesn't mean that there's a deficit for me in first grade. No, that's just where I was at along my journey. And I will always be learning and growing in all of these different concepts that I explore. And I find it to be an honor. I feel it is an honor to be able to share that with you all who are listening. So if you resonate with this at all, if this is of meaning or significance for you at all, I ask that you like, subscribe, and share this video, because I can guarantee you there is someone else out there who also needs, wants, and will benefit from hearing this message. And if you feel so called to comment or contribute in a helpful way for yourself, for myself, or for others, please feel free to go ahead and do that. I always encourage kind of constructive conversations, courageous and constructive conversations, to continue to evolve out of all of these conversations that I bring to the table, all of these topics. Okay, so have an amazing day. Thank you for being with me. I appreciate you. And I hope that this definition of meaning of life is going to stick with you today, and that you pull pieces out of it that make sense for you, and that it continues to serve you not just now, but